Hey everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Dion and you're watching Reptiliatus. Guys, before we get into talking about what is making all that trickling noise beside me, I have to address the, do I call it the elephant in the room? No, I have to address something very special. If you're new here, you may not realize that the rest of us are celebrating that Reptiliatus has reached the milestone that I have been working towards for years of attaining 100,000 subscribers. Friends, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I say this all the time. You are genuinely making my dreams come true. Your viewership means the world to me. So I just want to say thank you so much. I'm not gonna drag it out more than that because I'm planning on making a dedicated video to celebrate 100,000K subscribers when I receive my silver play button. For those of you that aren't aware, when you reach 100,000 subscribers, that's the first milestone that YouTube recognizes and awards you with a medal or trophy, whatever you want to call the play button. But I want to really commemorate it with a proper video, and I feel like I can't do that until that physical representation of that milestone arrives. So anyways, let's get back to today's video. You guys know that a few weeks ago, I introduced a very exciting project that I've taken on to systematically breed red-eyed crocodile skinks on a larger scale than just keeping one pair, being Sunny and Sappy, and their offspring. Last time we took a look at all the animals in quarantine, and in today's video we're going to be setting up the breeder enclosures that I'll be keeping pairs in so that we can hopefully get them settled in, comfortable, and in love, and reproducing. So sit back, grab your popcorn, enjoy, think about questions you might have brewing for me, comment them down below and I'll be happy to get to them. Alright, let's get right into it. Alright everybody, the fun project begins. I started by removing all the stickers on the tanks and preparing them to set up. Next, I needed to decide how large of a land area I wanted to have in each enclosure, so I measured the dimensions. These dimensions are going to be used to cut a material called egg crate. This plastic material will be cut into the exact shape we need to serve as part of our land barrier that will prevent substrate from falling into hydroton, which will make up part of the drainage. But we'll get to that in a sec. Now that I've marked my egg crate, it's time to use these clippers or branch cutters to cut out the sheet that we've marked and measured. I forgot it's been so long since I've done this. I would suggest actually wearing safety glasses because little bits of plastic go flying everywhere. Perfect. Now I just wanted to make sure that my measurements were accurate. It looks like I have a perfect fit. So now we're bringing back those aquarium barriers, and I'm gonna say again, I really apologize. I don't know where on earth you can get these. They do kind of resemble a Universal Rock product, but nonetheless, they were given to me for free because the pet store is throwing them out. So as you can see, this sort of gives us a better visual what we're aiming for. I'm measuring this out with the rock barrier because I want to ensure that the water feature will be wide enough to fit a filter. As you just got a sneak peek of in that shot there, we're going to fill the space under the egg crate with leca balls or hydroton. These porous clay balls will provide additional surface area for beneficial bacteria, which will aid in the filtration process of the water being used in the water feature. Alright, time to spread it all out and level things out before placing the egg crate back over top. I don't know about you, but I'd say that's a pretty good fit. Alright, so remember that we are making 3 enclosures, so this means that we need to cut 2 more of the egg crates, and well, yeah, everything we're gonna do is in 3s, right? Before getting started on my next steps, I wanted to get this coco coir block rehydrated so that it'd be ready by the time that I was going to prepare the substrate. The next thing we're going to do is use this aquarium filter floss to create a barrier on one side of the egg crate that will prevent any substrate from falling through into the water below. We want to prevent this at all costs because otherwise it could get in our filter and clog it up. What we're going to do is measure sheets that are slightly larger than the dimensions of each sheet of crate so that we can use zip ties to gently poke through and wrap and secure the sheet of filter floss to the egg crate. Now we just want to make sure that all the zip ties have been pulled tight before we use a pair of scissors to cut off all those long ends. And voila, there we go, a nice snug land barrier. Now we just have to make the other two and move forward with the project. You can find Amazon links to most of the products I use for these builds in my video description. Okay, so it's time to make the substrate. My cocoa husk is ready, and I'm going to just take it out and mix it with a few other ingredients. I have some Zilla Jungle Mix as well as some large cubes of cocoa brick that we're going to add in for a bit of aeration. This mix should be sufficient for providing the crocodile skinks with a nice, moist, and humid environment to dig through and thrive in. With my bucket mostly empty, it's time to make myself some terrarium putty. I'll leave a link to the video up above in the top right corner so you guys can produce this. Mixing pure natural based kitty litter that has no additional odors or ingredients, we're going to simply add water to it and a bit of substrate and literally just mash it until the ingredients mix perfectly. You don't want to be able to see any of those clay granules by the time you're done with this. Your arms, your forearms are going to be pretty sore if you do this right. So take the time you need to mash this up into the right consistency. One of the questions I get asked a lot is how I secured or created the barrier in Sappy and Sunny's enclosure. And while this is the best answer you're gonna get, it is the terrarium putty. So as you can see here, I'm going to secure that already made barrier onto the wall using this terrarium putty material. We're going to do it on that side, and then what we're also going to do is surround the whole perimeter of the egg crate barrier over top of the filter floss to ensure that no substrate will slip through the sides there as well. This material works fantastic for these types of tropical humid setup. Just make sure that it is not allowed to get too dry or it might crack and fall apart a bit. As long as it's kept moist, in this case it definitely will be because it's against the water, it will do fine, and it will even hold up when it's underwater, which is super neat. Now that we've done this process for all three of the terrariums, I'm going to use a little bit of the extra terrarium putty to create more of a lip that will serve as a bit of a barrier to keep substrate from falling into the water. Remember that using a flat blade, you can easily scrape off the smears of clay on the glass. Very easy to remove. So as you can see here, I have a bunch of cork that I'm going to be using as the crocodile skink hides. Ideally, I'm gonna stick to the larger pieces because those will obviously provide for better hides than the thin ones. But being optimistic, when they have babies, those will be great for them. So it should work really well. Like, that's a really nice piece that an adult could go in and hide in. So here we go. We have the enclosures here. They're set up. Took quite a bit of time to get to this point, but as you can see, we've used the terrarium putty to seal the barrier in from the sides and the top, but not the bottom, as we do want water to flow through into the drainage. And remembering that the hydroton is going to provide additional biological filtration through the porous surface area. So here we have the terrarium putty barrier. We can start scaping, adding some wood, and I'm going to be mixing the soil substrate. It's going to have a lot of drainage properties, or ingredients I should say. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Then we can get our filters in and add the skinks. Right, so we have a nice soil mix here. Let's go ahead and put a small layer on top of each land area, and then we'll start adding the cork over here. Now that I had laid down a thin layer of substrate, I wanted to try and scape some of the cork tubes. I wanted to come up with a layout that would sort of allow me to see the skinks but give them a good sense of privacy at the same time. I also wanted to put layers of soil in different spots so that there were different layers of substrate that would allow for better drainage and drier substrate in some areas, which would be beneficial to the skinks. As you can see here, I'm setting up the second tank and I'm kind of getting the hang of things at this point. I really like how things are turning out, and I was really lucky to score such nice pieces of cork tube. Alright everyone, things are moving along so well. It's time to add filters to the paludariums. I'm using some Aqueon Quiet Flow submersible filters. This is what I'm already using in Sunny and Sappy's enclosure, and it's the one thing that's really not burnt out or crapped out on me over time, so I'm very happy with them. We're going to add some nice river pebbles here to the bottom as well, just a little something for aesthetics. It's not really even necessary, but it makes a little difference in the appearance of the tank. Alright everybody, here comes the fun part. I am planting the enclosures. I'm using a bunch of really easy to keep species like iron plants, some different philodendrons, as well as a few aquatic species of plant. Nothing too crazy. If I'm being honest, the easiest thing would have been to just plant these with pothos. It's hardy, it grows, it provides lots of shelter, because that's just the most important thing for these skinks. But I wanted to try something different. I was hoping a few different peperomia species might take as well, so that's kind of what I did here. We'll see how that develops over time. Worst case scenario, I'm just gonna fill the whole thing up with pothos as well. And also keep in mind that the aquatic plants, or pothos being put in the water, will really help remove the nitrites produced by the skinks. We are making some solid progress here. We have this tank done, ready for water. I'm making my way over. This one is done as well, ready for water. And now we just have to add a bit of pebbles to the base here where the water is for this one, and plant it. And then we are ready to get water into these enclosures. I'm really excited. Normally I would let them grow in for a few weeks, but I really want to get these skinks into these enclosures. Let's see what happens. Alright friends, things are coming along. So as you can see, one enclosure set up here, the next is set up here. Sunny and Sappy are over here, and Sappy is actually right there. One of our babies was here a second ago too, so this is exciting. I'm gonna be on this shelf now. And then the fourth enclosure for croc skinks is right here. So as you can see, we have a pretty solid setup. So now what we're gonna do is add water to each enclosure, and then I'm going to figure out how I'm gonna connect the filters and get them running. We're gonna add some RO water, and then I'm going to also be taking a bunch of water from the Shinisaurus enclosures just to get a little bit of bacteria to kind of jump start the cycling for them. I'm going to be conditioning the tanks with Seachem products, so we're going to use the Flourish and Prime, and that is going to get these tanks going. It's going to be awesome. For today's question of the day, I want to ask you guys, have you ever set up a paludarium enclosure? Now, paludarium enclosure is sort of defined by a vivarium or terrarium that contains both a land and water feature to create an environment that has both. Let me know in the comment section if you would ever consider keeping an animal that enjoys living in a paludarium, if you would ever want to have a paludarium. I'm curious to know how people feel about that because I feel that these types of setups are becoming a lot more popular. As always, I'll give your comment a heart and we'll engage in a little bit of a conversation. Alright everybody, so now that the enclosures are all set up, the next thing we're going to do is individually remove and rinse off every skink to ensure that as much as possible we are putting 1.1s together. I don't want to have too much conflict with territorial behavior, etc. If there's any type of aggressive behavior noticed, I'll be removing them immediately and housing each one individually in their own quarantine tub. Anyways, enough blabbing. Let's start moving crocodile skinks into these new enclosures. I'm so stoked. Alright, I guess we might as well start with this enclosure. So I'm gonna get the lid open here. Alright, we got our lid off. Here's the enclosure the animals will be going into. Gotta say, I'm really happy with it. So here is some fresh, clean water. And here's our first skink in here. So gently put them in the water. You might be asking yourself, why is he rinsing off that poor little skink? Well, I want to be extra sure that I'm not missexing them as I place them into the enclosure. I think I did a good job already when I put them into their quarantine bins, but rinsing off any dirt on their feet allows me to accurately see if they have the pores I'm looking for on a male animal. It's tricky though because some of them arrived in pretty rough shape and they almost look like they're male but are missing those pores. I'll really have to keep a close eye on these guys going forward. So here is little Nova, female white-eyed. We're gonna clean her off and put her into her enclosure. I'll be keeping her in for now. Yeah, you okay, girl? Just gonna put you in there. Go ahead. You're good, you're good. Obviously, they're gonna freak out a little bit. It's okay. It's just kind of cleaned off. We'll go ahead and let her go into the enclosure. There she goes. Here is the other female she was housed with, so I'm just gonna keep these two girls together in here. Oh, alright girl. There. Alright everybody, so the skinks are officially in their new enclosures. I do still have two that I have to send back, but otherwise everyone that's staying is doing really great. Here's Sunny and Sappy's enclosure. Need to get in here and do a cleaning. As you can see, I've noticed some of the babies like hanging out inside their filter. It's completely safe, but it's just kind of funny. Wow, I just realized we have a Nova and a Nona now. That's gonna get interesting. So I was considering something and I wanted to get your guys' opinion. As you can see, this layout is kind of dumb. It's such a waste of space between them, but I had to do it that way so that I could have just enough room to slide each lid out. But I was considering something. Honestly, they're so light to shimmy over. Do you guys think I should get one more tank in here and add 2 more crocodile skinks just to have an extra pair? Let me know what you think, because honestly, I can just shimmy them, Tetris them around, move them out of the way to make space, enough space for one lid to slide out. It might be worth having one more pair, because honestly, this initiative is looking pretty exciting so far, and I'm really pleased with the results of these setups. I think we can really make some great headway in terms of providing captive bred crocodile skinks to the Canadian hobby at least, and who knows, maybe eventually export abroad. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And I really hope you think these enclosures are as cool as I do. I'm very happy with how they turned out, and I think that the skinks are really going to thrive in them. I can't wait to give you guys a future update, see how these plants grow in. Hopefully the skinks will come around and become a little bit more tame over time, the way Sunny and Sappy have. And yeah, it's just going to be a really exciting project to keep you all updated on. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed today's video. Yeah, I see you hiding, Sunny. Hello, silly goose in the filter. I see you. Alright, so here's the family. You can see Sappy in the background with one of her babies. And I'm sure she'll be happy to come over soon. There's always one of the hatchlings close by, isn't there, my lady? Alright, let's try feeding them. I'm sure we can get someone to come sit up here on the filter and happily take some food. Alright guys, there's a baby right in here. Let's see if they'll come out. Hello little baby, would you like this? Cricket? Come on. No, Sappy, go away! Oh my gosh. Get out of here, girl. This isn't for you. Oh man, oh man, oh man, what a thief. I think that's the youngest hatchling. Let me get you something a little bit smaller and more appropriately sized for you. Here, buddy. Here. Have this one. Ooh. You want a cricket? Come on. Sappy, you gotta be kidding me. Get out of here. Here, go down here. Okay, go, baby. Quick, grab it. There we go. Go back in the filter. Your mom's gonna try and take that from you. Good, you listen. Well friends, there you have it. I sincerely hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a lot of fun getting to show you how this project is coming along, and the skinks, I hope, are going to love these enclosures. It's really exciting for me, and I'm so hopeful that we're gonna have all the success in the world and be able to produce a lot of crocodile skinks. I'm also very hopeful that the information I'm sharing out to the world will help others do the same, because a lot of people set up their crocodile skinks in tanks with water dishes, and yeah, that can work for some people, but I really feel that I've kind of honed in on something here that works really well in particular. And honestly, setting something up like this is so easy. They don't need as much space as you think. By all means, give them more room. I think that's very rewarding in its own way, but this method has been proven to produce crocodile skinks and keep them healthy in groups of at very least 5 for at least 3 years. So you can't really rebut it and say that it's not working. We need more people breeding these animals. There's no reason they need to be coming out of the wild anymore, and the ones that are coming out of the wild need to be set up like this and bred. So please get on it if you haven't. Ideally find captive bred and support that, but if you can't, make sure that you're setting them up properly, not in little bins with water dishes, and don't touch them too much, and they should do well for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to give you guys an update on this project again soon, and as always, I look forward to seeing you in another video again soon. If you want to see more videos about my crocodile skinks, check the playlist up above, and I'll see you all on Friday. Bye guys.